to today's Los Blancos podcast, and today we are going to do a Las Palmas review where I have to show a little bit of restraint because I have to make sure that I don't speak with my mind and totally ruin this podcast and go for some proper analysis, because what we saw yesterday in the Canary Islands was absolutely pathetic. I think it was really bad. That was one of the worst performances I've seen in La Liga for quite some time from Real Madrid, and everything was wrong. Everything was wrong in that game, and I know in the end we got a 1-1 draw, which it really doesn't not much for us at this stage of the season, but it really was not good whatsoever. At this stage we are 4 points behind Barcelona. That's game week 3. I'm not sure if that's ever happened in La Liga, to be totally honest. And it looks like everything is wrong for Real Madrid this season. Nothing's going right. And if we're being honest, if as Real Madrid fans we look at that performance and we're being honest, Las Palmas deserve to win it. They deserve to win that game. Not only just by 1 goal, I think they deserved 2, maybe 3. They were really fantastic defensively, and they went at us. They went at us and forced us to make mistakes. And Alberto Molero's goal was really good. He was fantastic, I thought. And he proves to be a fantastic talent for Las Palmas. But we just couldn't do anything. It's rare that Real Madrid looks so helpless from minute 0 to 90 against the La Liga side who aren't exactly Barcelona or Atleti or something like that. But we just didn't look very good whatsoever. In the attack, we go forward, we go try and attack, and we struggle to create anything. And from minute 0 to 90, I say we created absolutely no clear-cut chances. Obviously we scored a penalty, that's a clear-cut chance in itself. We created absolutely nothing. Arda Güler came on and did some more than we were doing before, but even then it was really not enough. And then defensively, every time Las Palmas went forward, it was so chaotic. It was so like last man defending when it really should have been. It was like 2v4. It was 4v2 with Rudiger, Militao, Fran, and Carva and Lucas Vazquez. And then, the two Las Palmas attackers would look to make this so difficult. Sandro Ramirez and Oli McBurney. I watched Oli McBurney at Swansea a couple of years ago, and I never thought this guy would be absolutely running us ragged in La Liga, running Rudiger and Militao ragged. It was so evident. And Sandro Ramirez as well. This guy is a journeyman. He's played everywhere and anywhere, and he was absolutely running us through the ground too. It was just like it was such a shock to the system to see these guys having the time of their lives. Jose Campaña in midfield was it was so easy for him to do what he could do. It was so easy for him to do what he could do. And I guess we're going to start with the defence, like I've already said, because defensively it just wasn't good enough. From every single one of them. The press, oh my god, the press. We know Real Madrid press is really bad. It's really bad. But I haven't seen it as bad as this in a long time, where it just felt like Las Palmas found it so easy to get out of the press. It was either 2 or 3 passes and they were out immediately. It was so easy for Jose Campaña to absolutely dictate the tempo of this game. And at one point in the first half, I believe it was just as the first half was concluding, Las Palmas had more possession than us. We could not get the ball off of them, and it just felt like if it was on the left side, right, Fran Garcia, Vini, and Modric were all pressing the guys on the left hand side, and it was easy for them because it was 1-2. Fran Garcia immediately taken out the game. Vini's not pressing very well, and they're immediately out. What's the point of the press? What's the point of the press if it's two men pressing at the same time, but there's one weak link. That's so easy to play through. I'm confident if you put me in that midfield for Las Palmas, I could have played through that press yesterday because it was just so incompetent. The fact that there was always at least one weak link. And this is something that Real Madrid have to fix, because I felt like yesterday there were just not enough aggressors from midfield to attack. There were not enough aggressive, on-time tackling midfielders. Some guys who are gonna go for it. Obviously Jude Bellingham is that guy when he's on the pitch, and he goes at them. He goes at the opponent and he goes presses, and he might lose the duels, but at least he goes for them. At least he attempts to. In that midfield yesterday, I only saw Fede Valverde really doing it, and even he was doing it a lot less than he would normally do. And obviously we're missing Camavinga a lot in that regard as well, because Camavinga is very much one-on-one. He's gonna get in your face. It was a pathetic attempt of a press from Real Madrid, and it was one of the easiest things I've seen for Las Palmas to absolutely break through. But I mean, we talk about in possession as well for Las Palmas, but in possession for Real Madrid was absolutely poor as well. This is the worst passing performance I've seen from Real Madrid in maybe since the Man City game, the one we lost 4-0. And then beyond that, I don't recall a game as bad as that in terms of the passing. Seriously, some of the passes that these guys were struggling to make. And once again, I hate to say it, my football dreams are well and truly in the ground. I'm very well washed at this point. But I reckon some of those passes that those guys were misplacing, they were so easy. And if you put me in that midfield, I reckon I could have made at least 60% of those passes that they misplaced. Some of the passes, from Fede, from Tchouaméni, from Modric, how can Modric make those passes? It's literally impossible. That has never happened in his career, and Modric is failing on those passes. That's impossible. Brahim Diaz. I don't think Brahim Diaz made a pass to our own team yesterday. He was really bad, I thought. And the passing from him, every single time there was a counter opportunity and Brahim Diaz got presented with the ball, it was straight away passed to the Las Palmas player. It was so bad from Brahim Diaz. And then all of this culminated, Las Palmas actually gave us space. They gave us space to work with. This wasn't like playing against Real Valladolid the other week. It wasn't like playing Mallorca, where they sat 11 men behind the ball. Obviously, eventually, Las Palmas did that when they ran out of energy and they needed to just sit back and to contain us. Okay, that's fair enough. I don't blame them for that. But in the first half, there was so much space to work with. And every time we had an opportunity to counter-attack, it was immediately to the Las Palmas player. And every time Vinny or Mbappe had a chance to stretch their legs, the Las Palmas defender was on them and they couldn't do anything. It was horrific in possession. One of the worst games I've seen from Real Madrid. And it takes me back to the point I made last time on Monday. I was on Monday. I don't think Tchouaméni Valverde as a double pivot can work, and it's unfortunate because these are two players I really like, but both of them just can't make it work. I don't believe that either of them have the technical ability in possession or as a collective to make it work, to be totally honest. That's no shame on either of them, but I don't think together they can work at all. I just don't. I think you see how lax Tchouaméni was, and I've been banging on this drum for 2-3 years now. Since Tchouaméni's joined, I've been banging on this drum saying that Tchouaméni, as good as he is, there is one clear gap in his game, which is his defensive tracking, where he's just so lax and he just can't, and he does not track back. I think it was so evident for their goal, for Las Palmas' goal, and for a lot of other chances. Tchouaméni was ball watching, and it was so evident to see. He just doesn't bust the gut to get back and try and defend. You could see him jogging back and making sure that he covers this midfield space, but he doesn't help the defense. It was so bad. He doesn't track his runner. Alberto Molero had a chance. Tchouaméni could have nicked the ball off of Molero there, and Molero then goes on a one-on-one Militao, and I don't blame him because Militao's been put in a compromised position where he has to cover two players at once. So it's really bad from Tchouaméni in that goal, and I think it could cost us a lot if because Fede is ultimately a box to box in this system, and having to do up and down all game, that does take a toll on your mental awareness, and so Tchouaméni has to do more defensively, and so this is why I think someone like Camavinga is so important, because you need someone who's a little bit more defensively aware than Tchouaméni is, and Tchouaméni is he's not defensively aware at all. And in possession, you talk about missing Toni Kroos. But I think we've been these 4 games in, and every single game versus Atalanta, versus Mallorca, versus Valladolid, we've said, oh my god, I miss Kroos so much. But I think this game was the most evident, where every single time we got the ball, it was 5 passes and then back to Las Palmas. Kroos would never allow that to happen. Kroos would stop the game and take his time with it. It just felt like this whole Real Madrid team were feeding into the game being chaotic, and we're trying to make it chaotic. And sometimes that works. Against Man City in the Champions League, that works, because that's not what Man City want. But against a team like Las Palmas, who want to make Real Madrid uncomfortable at every single point, and had Vinny and Mbappe on lock every time it was press on touch of the ball, it was just a poor decision to do that. And I don't think in that first half we had the players to change that situation, because I don't think Tchouaméni or Valverde in midfield could do that. Modric could have done that, but I think it's very clear from this game and from the last few, Modric's abilities to change a game dramatically have waned a lot, and it does look like Real Madrid. I don't know how much we can rely on Modric going into this season. But once again, I think this midfield just cannot work, and the sooner that we get Camavinga back, the sooner that we get Bellingham back, I think it's evident, both in midfield and attack, how much we miss Jude Bellingham. I think it's evident in possession and defensively how much we miss both of these guys. And I just think, the sooner that we get this back, I think Tchouaméni is very lucky. He's a very lucky player, because all 4 of these games have not been great from Tchouaméni, either defensively or in possession. I don't think it's been great from Tchouaméni. There's been some aspect of this game that's gone wrong in each and every one of these 4 games. And I think he's very, very lucky that Eduardo Camavinga got injured in the first match, in the warm-up of the first match. Because for me, I think it's a very easy solution if Camavinga's here, which is drop Tchouaméni and play Camavinga. I think it's so obvious there. But Tchouaméni he's very lucky. He's a very lucky player. That Camavinga's injured. To be totally honest. But then you talk about the attack. Well, obviously I told you that Brahim Diaz was he was more than a non-factor. He was really bad in the attack. So obviously that doesn't help the situation. But going forward, you can't have Vinny and Mbappe. They're trying their best. I understand that they're trying their absolute best to not step on each other's toes, and I appreciate those efforts from both of them. That takes something to do, and obviously, a lot of people before the season were having, well, whose ego is going to get in the way of each other. But to be totally honest, both of these guys, and I didn't think I would be talking about this, but both of these guys are really lacking a bit of ego. Maybe it's not the word, but lacking that bit of, I'm the star player, let me take initiative, let me take this team by the scruff of their neck in terms of Las Palmas. I thought in the second half, Kylian Mbappe definitely improved this a lot. I think he dropped deep, took a little bit more initiative, but I think there was still that doubt in the back of his mind. Should I be this selfish? Should I do this, that, and the other? You've just got to go for it. Just go for it, man. If it's going to benefit the team with you scoring, 30 goals a season, but you're not playing any assists, fine, so be it. But just take more shots. These 2 guys up front are not taking enough shots by any means. In the second half, it improved a lot. Mbappe started forcing the issue a little bit more, but Vinny still is not shooting very much, and obviously he scored the penalty, and people are going to make a lot of that out of that penalty as well. Oh, he didn't give it to Kylian. Oh well, that's Vinny is the designated penalty taker, and until Vinny misses, Mbappe is not going to get those penalties. So I have no issue with that, and so I'm really not happy with how that happens. But it's really not good from these two in attack. And I was watching the ESPN stream, and I saw Craig Burley absolutely criticising those two in terms of their defensive workload. I agree 1000%. I don't know what's happened with Vinny, but Vinny 2 years ago with Benzema, and before that breakout season, he was an absolute defensive workhorse. He would get back and he would absolutely work so hard. He would work his ass off to make sure that the other team doesn't get the ball. And Vinny has done this in the past. He can do it. The only reason he hasn't been doing it in these last 2 years is because Ancelotti wants him to stay up the pitch, ready for any counters. But it just can't work with two non-factors in the press. It just can't. You saw it with PSG. And Jude Bellingham, Fede Valverde, these guys can run from minute 0 to minute 90. I understand that, but you don't want them running from minute 0 to minute 90. You want Vinny and Rodrigo came on and he ran around a little bit because I think Rodrigo is much better at this. I really did not enjoy this from both of these guys. And is it unfair? Is it totally unfair to ask Kylian Mbappe, world's best player, Mr. World's best player, Mr. Ballon d'Or next year, Mr. World Cup winner, scores a hat-trick in the final? Is it so bad to ask for him to take a little bit of initiative and to score a goal in this game, in a tight deadlock game against Las Palmas, who are on an 18-game, is it losing streak or is it winless streak? Something like that. Is it that unfair to ask that from Mbappe? I don't think it is. I really don't think it is. So, at the end of the day, I'm really not happy with either of these guys. I'm obviously going to give a little bit more leeway to Vinny because Vinny's my guy, and he's obviously, he deserves it because he's been giving Real Madrid amazing service for 2 years now, for 3 years. But it's just not good enough from either of these guys. Not good enough whatsoever, to be totally honest. And I don't know what the solution is. That's something for Carlo Ancelotti to decide. I think it's very obvious from now that Rodrigo is not the problem, so I don't want to hear that from anyone again. Do you play Rodrigo? Do you play Arda Güler? Who do you play? I don't know. I really don't know. And that's the next thing, because going into the weekend we've got Real Betis at home, which that's an impossible fixture in itself. So we got another great fixture to play on Sunday evening. I'm really not looking forward to that game, because Real Betis, in the last games against Real Betis at home, 0-0. Then we won 2-1, and then 0-0 2 years ago. So what's going to happen. It's most likely going to be a 0-0 draw. But they're a really impossible side to crack. And with this team looking so toothless as they are, I'm not enjoying this. I'm really not enjoying this. I think, what else can we say? I mean, the Las Palmas defense. I mean, once again, credit to Las Palmas. They were excellent. They were really damn good. And I can't, signing guys like Scott McKenna and Ollie McBurney and making them into very good La Liga players. That's fantastic from them. But once again, we just didn't test Jesper Cillessen enough. We didn't test him. And if you don't test the goalkeeper, what's the point? You play against these guys and you don't test him. I thought when they came on, I thought Arda Güler really improved the game, and he obviously drew the penalty. I thought Arda Güler did a lot more than a lot of the guys who were starting the game. I thought Endrick definitely came on and was lively, but we just didn't feed him any good chances, so what's the point? I thought Fran Garcia definitely livened the game up, and I thought Mendy in the first half was really, really bad. Couldn't play a pass, couldn't defend. He was just a total non-factor in this game. Fran Garcia, he couldn't play a pass either, to be totally honest, but he definitely quickened things up a little bit, which was what we needed. I think this is the type of game you need Ceballos to come on, and it's crazy because we were obviously talking about Ceballos potentially leaving before the game, but I just think Ceballos in this type of game is so pivotal to your team, to be totally honest, because his stop-start in this team is so necessary, and his ability to retain the ball in this situation is absolutely necessary. You needed that in this game, and it was just not there. So I think Ceballos should have come on in this game, which is crazy, but it's what we needed. And I think it's Thursday night in La Liga, and we were just absolutely run around by Oli McBurney and Sandro Ramirez. So I don't think anything else needs to be said. It was a pathetic performance, one of the worst I've seen from Real Madrid in La Liga for years. Definitely the worst that isn't played against Barcelona or Atleti. I was shocked, and we were very lucky to get a point, and now we are 4 points behind Barcelona, who are now perfect for a 3 from 3. Against they won against who was it? Rayo Vallecano at home, which is a really difficult game at Vallecas, so that's a really annoying as well. Carlo Ancelotti has a lot to work on from now until the weekend. I mean, for me, the solutions are not clear. The solutions are really not clear. But if I was Carlo Ancelotti, I think Arda Güler is a must start next game. I think Rodrigo is probably must start this next game as well. And I think that's probably it. I mean, Tchouaméni has to stay at the start because unfortunately we don't have any midfield options at this current moment in time. But yeah, I mean, just to wrap it up, before we wrap it up, I do want to talk about Ceballos leaving as well. It's very annoying to have a player leave at this stage of the transfer market, knowing that we're going to have to probably replace him. He's probably going to go to the Real Betis. But if I was Real Madrid, these are the players I would consider. Having seen quite a few guys suggest these. Number one option for me would be Javi Guerra from Valencia. He'd bring that tenacity. I think he's in a similar position that Ceballos was when we first signed him in 2017. So I would like to see Javi Guerra signed. I think he's a fantastic midfielder, really strong in the tackle, good in possession. I like him a lot. And he was definitely a player who I noted when we played Valencia at Mestalla. So yeah, I think Javi Guerra would definitely be someone I would consider. Then Maxence Caqueret from Lyon is definitely another guy who I think I don't know why he's still at Lyon, to be totally honest, but he is. And definitely a guy I would consider really good in possession. And so maybe something that help the loss of Kroos a little bit. And then the final player I would consider is Mateusz Nunes from Man City. I think he's I think he just hasn't worked out for him at City. He's really good on the ball, and he will progress the ball really well. So, does exactly what Ceballos does to a T. And so I would consider Mateusz Nunes. But realistically, if it is going to be anyone, it's probably going to be Rabiot. So, what can you do there? But that is it for today. I hope you guys, I provided you guys a little bit of therapy following the nightmare that happened yesterday, because it was one of the worst performances I've seen once again. It's not looking good. 3 games in and we've already dropped points twice. That's really pathetic. Next game is Real Betis. We'll be back on Sunday to provide you with a preview, and then we'll be back on Monday to give you a review of the Real Betis game. So, yep. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. Bye bye. Bye.